Hello, and welcome to Virtual Investor Conferences. My name is Cecilia, and on behalf of OTC Markets, we're very pleased you've joined us for our next live presentation from Canalaska Uranium. Before I introduce our speaker, please note you can submit your questions for the presenter in the question box to the left of the slides. Additionally, all of today's presentations will be recorded and available for 24/7 replay. At this point, I'm very pleased to welcome Corey Bielik, CEO and EVP of Canalaska Uranium, which trades on the OTCQX Best Market under the symbol CVVUF and on the TSXV under the symbol CVV. Welcome, Corey.
Well, thank you. It's a real pleasure to be here today. I am CEO and Executive Vice President for Canalaska Uranium, and it's a real pleasure to be here this afternoon to tell our story. And we're really built around that uranium story, and we do have a great portfolio of copper and nickel, in particular nickel assets in central Canada and in one of those most prolific nickel belts on the planet. But we're really here today to focus on uranium and the exciting news that we've had over the summer and what we can look forward to in 2023. So again, it's about investing in carbon-free energy, uranium, copper, and nickel. Bit of a disclaimer, I will make some forward-looking statements, and I'm going to get right onto those forward-looking statements. We felt early in 2022 that we were on the cusp of major discoveries. Why do we say that? Because in 2021, we had an incredibly successful year on our uranium portfolio. We entered the year drilling brand new polymetallic mineralization near the giant Cigar Lake uranium mine in the Athabasca Basin of Canada at our Waterbury South project, 100% owned by Canalaska. We moved through into the summer where we drilled our West McArthur project, where for a number of years we've been drilling high-grade uranium mineralization, and we continued to advance that target and again drilled high-grade uranium mineralization, making it even larger. And then our new joint venture with Denison Mines, our Moon Lake South joint venture, resulted in discovery of multiple zones of new uranium mineralization in the first ever drilling program on that JV. So we had an incredible 2021, and I'm really proud to report that this summer, we announced a second new discovery at West McArthur, a high-grade discovery, 9 meters at 2.4% uranium, 100 meters below the unconformity, just near that giant McArthur River mine that's owned by Cameco and Orano. Our partner here is Cameco. It's a really exciting turn of events on this project where we've identified a brand new zone. And this has the characteristics of these large tier one deposits like Cigar and McArthur. We're a well-structured company. We've got about 122 million shares outstanding, 173 million fully diluted, and that's on the back of our successful raise just last week that we completed for $10 million. We have $18.8 million in the treasury. Management is well aligned with shareholders, owning about 4.5% to 8.5%, depending if you're talking about outstanding or fully diluted. The price of uranium continues to move up. It's around $53 a pound as of last week. And we are ready for that upturn, and we want our shareholders to be ready for that upturn. We believe it's in front of us, and the uranium market continues to strengthen. We have an incredible, strong technical and political board headed by Ambassador Thomas Graham as chair. He worked for a number of successive U.S. presidencies, involved in all those negotiations for disarmament with the Russians over the past 35 years. So very, very well connected in the nuclear space, in the U.S. in particular. We've got the discoverer of Cigar Lake on our board, Dr. Carl Schiemann, and some great support from the communities up in northern Saskatchewan as well. Myself, I was with Cameco for about 20 years, 24 on the books, including my Uranus time, where I was part of exploration, discoveries, ultimately production at the Eagle Point mine, where I was chief geologist for 5 years, and now moved into business development and the junior sector. So an incredibly strong team with 140 years of Athabasca Basin experience and multiple discoveries under its belt. We've got an incredible portfolio of assets, and we really pride ourselves on being that active explorer and project generator, really a hybrid model where we research, acquire, do deals to bring in outside investment, all driven towards discovery of uranium, copper, and nickel in this portfolio. And, it's all about minimizing shareholder dilution and really maximizing those capital gains for our shareholders. So in the Eastern Athabasca, we've got an incredible portfolio that just really is second to none. And the business case for uranium has never really been better. I've been in this business for almost 30 years, and I can tell you, it is truly remarkable what is happening out there. And if we want to meet our clean energy goals as a planet, society, by 2050, we're going to have to double, maybe even quadruple some of that nuclear power production from its current state. So that is ultimately going to take a lot more uranium, and those discoveries have to be made to support all of these new technologies like SMR, small modular reactors, which are becoming important. And just for reference, in Canada, these are not fantasy any longer. The Darlington plant out in Ontario near Toronto is building out 300 megawatts of SMR technology, these small modular reactors that will power 300,000 Ontario homes. In Saskatoon, where I'm from, where I'm talking to you from today in central Canada, there is a microreactor going in here, 5 megawatts, maybe up to 15 megawatts, that will be producing clean electricity in Canada in both these cases by 2028. That is an incredible story. This is not fantasy. This is real. And what does it all mean? We need more uranium. We need to make more discoveries. And that's what we've been focused on at Canalaska since really 2004. But if we look at what we came through this year, we drilled our Waterbury South project, continued to advance that target near the Cigar Lake mine where we had that polymetallic uranium mineralization. Then we went into the nickel space also in Q1 of this last year. Every single hole intersected high-grade nickel mineralization in the Thompson Nickel Belt, one of our projects in the Thompson Nickel Belt, the fifth largest sulphide nickel belt on the planet. Then in the summer, we went into the West McArthur, which is right near the McArthur River mine. That's a 700 million pound uranium mine owned by Cameco and Orano. And we drilled, with our partner Cameco, additional high-grade mineralization, what we're calling our 42 zone. And that's that extended into a new discovery, which we'll really focus on as part of this talk at West McArthur. And then just announced today, we're continuing the drilling program with our partner Metal Energy at Manor because of those successful results earlier in the year. They're going to complete their $10,000 exploration program scheduled for this year. Again, high-grade nickel mineralization. And we continue to do deals to bring in outside investment. Looking at our portfolio, it's really second to none. We've got 740,000 hectares of projects in the Eastern Athabasca Basin, in and around all that critical infrastructure, which is host to 3 mills, multiple mines owned by Cameco and Orano principally. Just an incredible portfolio of assets in one of the most prolific uranium districts on the planet. We've also got the Thompson Nickel Belt, where we've got about 560,000 acres of land. Again, second only to Vale, one of the largest nickel producers in the world. We're second to them only in land for the Thompson Nickel Belt. So just an incredible portfolio geared toward discovery. In the uranium space, we've got targets that range from shallow depth right through to depths in and around McArthur River depth, like at West McArthur. So we've got an incredible portfolio here, which exposes our shareholders to all the possibilities of discovery in the Athabasca Basin, from shallow targets like Eagle Point, Arrow, that's NextGen's 350 million pound deposit, which was discovered about 10 years ago, right through to a McArthur River at depths in and around 600 or 700 meters. So we've got an incredible portfolio, and we're not shy about the depth of the sandstone because it creates these large alteration halos that we can use to our benefit to go out and make these discoveries. At West McArthur, again, this is right near that McArthur River mine. We went in this year, we reran some of our geophysics, we repositioned the targets, and we came up with a whole bunch of new targets away from our 42 zone. Again, 42 zone had been drilling 8% uranium. So we went out there and we started to test those this summer. And our second hole intersected a new uranium discovery about 4 miles away from the 42 zone. This is about 8 to 10 miles away from McArthur River. We can drive here year round. That McArthur River mine, which you see on the right-hand side, is that 700 million pound ore body, which is owned principally by Cameco. It's down that haul road just on the right-hand side to Key Lake, about 80 kilometers or about 50 miles to the south, and that's where that processing occurs. So this is an incredibly well-positioned project, and we're getting incredible grades in this new discovery. And again, this is new. This is the first hole in this area, and it intersected 2.5% over 9 meters. Grades as high as 6% over a half meter. So there's a lot of high-grade mineralization here. This is exactly what you see around one of these large unconformity type deposits, these tier one assets in the Athabasca Basin. It truly is new and significant. Where is it located? 100 meters below that unconformity. So the unconformity model sits between two different ages of rocks, here shown in the yellow above and the gray and brown below. So that contact is generally where a McArthur cigar would occur. We're 100 meters below that. And just for reference, on the right-hand side, when I was at Eagle Point, I took this image underground in one of our drifts, our development headings. It's about 20 feet wide or so. And you can see that this mineralized intercept is 10 times that width. This is an incredible intersection of uranium deep below that unconformity. Just to put that into a different scale against that picture, here shown on the right is 6 meters of that high-grade core put back together. And this is what it would look like, that yellow line. So this is how significant this intersection is. It is very large, it is high-grade, and it's exactly what you want to see in association with one of these large unconformity mineralizing events. So this is incredible, and we are very excited about it. And why is that? In part because it's opened up about 8 miles. 8 miles of exploration space is completely untested by drill holes. Again, this is our first hole into that 8-mile stretch, and we found the main structure. This just simply doesn't exist in the Eastern Athabasca Basin with its rich history. We have opened up an incredible frontier for exploration with this single drill hole and this high-grade intercept. So we're really excited about this result. And, just to put it back into perspective, if you were to take this mineralization, put it 100 meters below a Millennium deposit, that's over 100 million pounds, it would look like this. If you put it at Eagle Point, where I'm very familiar being chief geologist there for 5 years, it looks like the best parts of Eagle Point. If you stick it 100 meters below McArthur River at that unconformity, this is what McArthur River looks like. This is exactly what we want to see. Our results from this summer are guiding us back to that unconformity, and we're excited to get back in there in about 8 weeks' time to continue drilling. We followed that one hole up with multiple other intersections, one of them highlighted here in hole 72-3. The high-grade mineralization continues. And I just want to point out to the audience here that it's pointing us back to that unconformity. You can see it on the right. All those stars are mineralized intercepts within that structure. And what I want you to note is in the lower left-hand corner here is a zoom in of some of the high-grade mineralization at the start of the zone. And it is off scale. We can't even measure it with our instruments in the field. We're waiting on assays right now. They should be in any day. And I can tell you, this is off scale. This is the highest grade we've ever seen on this project, I believe. And this is principally solid uranium metal. And that's a pretty exciting outcome. So just to look at it again, it's an incredible intersection. We're very excited about it, and we're going to get back here in early January with 2 drills, and we're going to continue to advance this target because it looks right, it's high grade, and it's exactly what we've been seeking since 2004 on this project, and here we are, ready to go. We've got other areas on this project at West McArthur, like 42 zone. I hinted at, we'd been drilling 8% uranium here over the last number of years, and that target continued to expand for us last year. We've now got it over 100 meters in strike length, or over 350 feet in length, and it's maybe 60, 70 meters wide. So you're looking at 200 feet wide. This is a growing target. Again, about 6 miles away from the hole we were just talking about. So this is a second uranium mineralized front on this project, the same structure, we believe, and really showing how important it is. And just of note, we're only a couple of miles away from Cameco's Fox Lake deposit. It's on the same structure, and it's 70 million pounds at 8% uranium, 8% average grade uranium. Incredible. This is an incredibly fertile corridor, and now we've got a brand new target as of 2 months ago. This comes with large alteration halos here at 42 zone, just for instance, just to show you the Eiffel Tower shown for scale. You've got an incredibly large alteration profile. And this, when put to scale against Cigar Lake, roughly shown on this image, you can see it is very, very large. And that's just an indication of all the uranium flowing through the system in this water that's altering the rocks. And this, basically, you get a large alteration halo, you have potential for a large deposit. And we're drilling very high grades along this structure with this alteration. So we are onto something that is quite unique, rare to find, and very significant. We increased the zone last year. We got even greater thicknesses of mineralization. Again, this is why we felt we're on the cusp of a major discovery. We intersected, about a mile away from 42 zone, 80 meters, or say about 200 feet of structure in the basement that indicated that we're on a major fault zone. And this is the fault zone that we're now intersecting 6 miles away at this new uranium mineralized zone. So this is an incredible result for us, and it really is something special. Now, there's a strategic opportunity at West McArthur. Our partner is Cameco. But if we think about McArthur River, when it restarts, which is this quarter, it'll have about 15 years of mine life left. It takes about 15 years to put a new asset into production in the Athabasca Basin, from discovery right through to first production, when you have a McArthur or a Cigar. So the time is now. Cameco needs feed for its Key Lake mill. There is no other tier 1 asset in this part of the Athabasca Basin that's ready to go. And the grades and style of mineralization that we're drilling suggest we're on a tier 1 mineralizing event. So our partner Cameco, I think, is very interested in learning what we have at West McArthur. And we're along a trend with new uranium targets developing all the time, and some of them very high grade. So we're very strategically positioned with our partner Cameco to provide feed for this Key Lake mill in about 15 years. This is an incredible result and incredible strategic opportunity that really is, really second to none in the Athabasca Basin in terms of juniors. We've got other projects too. We've got a new project, Key Extension. This is a new option for us. It's only 10 kilometers away from that Key Lake mill where McArthur River ore goes to. This is along the Key Lake Fault, which is host already to 200 million pounds of uranium historically at the Key Lake mill. We have that on this property, and we did some geophysics this past winter, and these blue targets, these targets highlighted in these ovals, are the right scale. They're about a mile in size. That's exactly what you'd find around an Eagle Point or an Arrow. These large 200 to 350 million pound ore bodies in the basement rocks. We're outside the basin here, so we're just below that unconformity. This is the scale of anomaly that you want to see. Not a single drill hole in this fault zone, in this area, on these targets. This is truly, truly new exploration space, and we're on that critical regional fault that's already host to some significant mineralization. So we're going to be out here drilling in Q1 next year. Stay tuned for some possibly great results out of Key Extension. We've got a large portfolio. We can't do it all. We run that hybrid model of do it yourself or bring in partnerships. And one of those partnerships is with Basin Energy. And this is an example where we did a $15 million Australian deal with a new entrant to the Athabasca Basin, Basin Energy. And they're starting to move their projects forward just in the last month. And we're running the project exploration for them. And we went out here, did some work, flew some airborne geophysics, and we've identified already new priority target corridors on this project. It's very close to one of the ongoing recent discoveries in the Athabasca Basin. We're only a few kilometers or a few miles away from that discovery by some of our peers. And we're in the right rocks, in the right jurisdiction, with the right partnership, with the right funding to move these projects forward. So we're looking to do more deals like this, but in the meantime, we're going to be using Basin Energy's money to advance these projects for our shareholders, ultimately toward discovery. We've got a nickel portfolio. Beyond uranium, we've got a nickel portfolio that, again, is second to none. This is in the fifth largest sulphide nickel belt on the planet in the neighboring province of Manitoba in central Canada. Again, we're second only to Vale. We know the story of nickel. If you want to build these cars, if you want to build battery storage, you need nickel. You need a lot more nickel, class 1 nickel like you find in the Thompson nickel belt. The price is moving up. The warehousing inventories of nickel are moving down. About 5 years ago, we made the decision to project generate in the nickel space. I'm very happy to report that some of these projects are already providing fruits to our labor. And like I mentioned earlier, just this week, Metal Energy, our partner down at the Manabridge project at the south end of this belt, restarted their 10,000 meter drilling program. So far, every single hole that's drilled into the bedrock has intersected nickel mineralization, and most are high-grade nickel mineralization. So we believe this project has a lot of value. It's providing some confirmation of our project generation in this belt, and we're looking to move this forward with new partnerships, new entities that want to bring their expertise, bring their money to the nickel space, and move these forward. So again, an incredible nickel portfolio sitting in Canalaska's hands, second to none, and we're really only second to Vale in this belt in terms of exploration potential. So an incredible story that's developed outside the uranium space for Canalaskan shareholders, and we're looking to find ways to monetize this as well. So Canalaska truly ticks all the boxes, we believe. We employ that hybrid project generator / exploration model that I've talked about. We're focused on uranium. Don't kid yourself. We're focused on uranium, but we've developed this incredible nickel portfolio on the side as well. And I think importantly that where we're spending our shareholders' money, we truly are making discoveries. And now in Q1 2023, I'm happy to report that we're going to be advancing that new discovery at West McArthur fairly aggressively with 2 drills. And we're well financed for that program with our partnership with Cameco, and we're going to move that forward in Q1, Q2 of next year. So please stay tuned. We've got a lot of news flow coming for our shareholders. We were on exciting targets and exciting projects and new discoveries, and I believe 2023 is going to be our best year ever. So we truly do believe we're on the cusp of major discoveries, new discoveries, but also major discoveries. Our discoveries that we're working on in the Athabasca Basin truly look tier 1. And please follow us. Please become a shareholder and ultimately enjoy in this success. So thank you for your time. I'll leave it at that. It's been a pleasure talking to you today. I think now we have a little bit of time for questions. So I will just look at the list. First one is, can you discuss your 2023 initiatives and any further capital needs to support these initiatives? Well, as I indicated, we came through a $10 million financing just last week. We closed that. So we have $18.8 million in the bank. We plan on spending $10 million roughly at West McArthur. We're still working on that program proposal with our partner Cameco. We also have key extension that we're moving forward, plus some other projects, let's say in a more lesser sense. So we are well financed to enter the year. We're well financed for essentially what we have planned for next year. But if the price is right, if the money's on the table, and if we feel that we have a need in order to advance some of our targets, then we could look to do another financing to support those extra initiatives. But we are well financed. We're in a very good position. Next question, what activities can we expect in the next few years to develop Thompson Nickel Belt? So the Thompson Nickel Belt, because it is not really our core focus, it was a project generation piece for Canalaska when no one wanted to talk about uranium for 10 years post-Fukushima. We're looking to find ways to monetize that. We did a deal with Metal Energy, which has put $4 million into Manabridge. And as I indicated, it's responding very favorably to our exploration thesis that we had when we staked those projects. Nearly all holes are intersecting high-grade nickel mineralization. We have neighboring properties just a mile or so away, built on the same concept. So we have reasonable expectation that some success could be had on a couple of other projects in that general region. And then we've got a large portfolio up just north of Thompson in that nickel space. So, I would say stay tuned for new entrants to come in with us and move these forward. We want to stay focused on uranium, given the uranium space, but we're looking for ways to monetize this for our shareholders. And in general, that involves bringing in partnerships to use their money to advance the nickel space and ultimately make discoveries or find value for our shareholders. So stay tuned for a lot of news for the Thompson Nickel Belt. Nickel is popular these days, along with uranium, and I believe there will be a path forward there to bring in outside investment to help move that forward. That is the list of questions so far. If there's any more, please get them noted. But I will just say that 2023 is shaping up to be Canalaska's best year ever, and principally led by West McArthur and that new uranium mineralization. We should have our assay information back within the next, say, several weeks on some of those other intersections. Again, the one that we can't even measure because it's so high grade with our instruments. So, I would say be prepared for some great news coming later in Q4. And as we enter Q1 in 2023, we're going to have 3 drills turning, 2 at West McArthur and 1 at Key Extension. And again, 1 probably later in the year at our Geikie project with our new entrant, Basin Energy. So, it's going to be an exciting 2023. And I'm really looking forward to it. And I know the team here is really looking forward to it and getting back on that high grade mineralization to build value for our shareholders.